lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́ là ń bẹ̀wò ìkúkú ìdùnkù lóko podium international wọ́n ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́ látìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń bàbọ̀ wọn ò fìgbà kan tẹ́rì o wọ́n ti wá ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n ti gbé bẹ̀bẹ̀ dé podium cinema ni wọ́n tún gbé dé podium cinema lórí youtube ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn kẹ́ ẹ subscribe ibẹ̀ lẹ́tì mọ̀ wọ àwọn àjá àbálẹ̀ fíìmù ẹ̀dọ̀kí fíìmù tó léfo gan tààrà podium cinema mo bẹ́rí fún yín fíìmù mẹ́sàn-án ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n kó jáde o àwọn gbàǹkọ́gbé fíìmù èkíní májẹ̀mú ẹ̀gbọ́n èkejì my wet ẹ̀kẹta ọmọ ẹni ẹ̀kẹrin àlàmú èkó ẹ̀karùn-ún àìmọ̀ ṣe wá rí pé nǹkan kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ràgbó ó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ eléyìí lẹ́ti kẹjù èdè yorùbá ni wọ́n fi ṣe àwọn fíìmù yìí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹfà sẹ́ẹ̀kẹsàn-án èdè òyìnbó ni wọ́n kọ́ ẹ̀kẹfà tẹ́mà èkeje the casting ẹ̀kẹjọ m1 the detective ẹ̀kẹsàn-án 100 m1 the detective at 100 orí síríìsì lẹ́fì máa wò ó ìyẹn dàgbéléwò nìyẹn podium international podium cinema ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn lórí youtube wọ́n wà lórí facebook wọ́n wà lórí instagram podium cinema ó ti dọbẹ̀ ẹ subscribe.
Yeah, good day, viewers. Welcome to our today's program, Matters Arising. My name is Kayode Emola, and I have my co-host here, Sir Alex Ajala. Sir Alex, do you want to say hello to our viewers?
Hello, viewers. Happy to be with you again today. I hope we enjoy our chat together. So this is a journey where we are trying to bring to the focus of our people a lot of things that are around them that they ignore, that are very pertinent to the development of our people.
Thank you very much, Baba Jala. Yeah, last week we did talk about Pan-Africanism, the Pan-African question. What role is the African Union playing? All these things borders on the development of the ordinary people on the streets of Africa, on the streets of Lagos, on the streets of Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, South Africa, and so on. But particularly, we're focusing on Yorubaland and Yoruba nation today. And we're looking at the flawed development in Yorubaland, particularly seeing that in Nigeria today, the development of Yoruba has been stalled, and not just only stalling, it's also gone back. So the developments in Yorubaland, and it's so sad when they say our golden years is from 1952 to 1962, 10 years. And after the golden years, we've not only gone to the silver years or the bronze or iron years, we've now gone to the gutter years, years where our development is completely in shambles. Everything in Nigeria is in shambles, and it has affected the Yoruba region. The Yoruba people were proud to provide
Most
education.
especially.
Yeah, the Yoruba people were proud to provide free education, where most Nigerian cities or regions we are still deliberating it. The Yorubas had several industries for development, such that when you finish your school, you can go into a job immediately finishing university. Employers we are recruiting. I did my master's in the UK, and whilst I was doing my master's, 5 companies came to interview us in the school. A lot of my mates got job whilst they were in school. Shortly after my master's, I got a high-paying job in Qatar. So to tell you how these countries have gone far. But today, you see a lot of our graduates, they finish school, they wait 5 years, no job, then they go back to do masters, finish masters, wait, and there is no job, and then go back to do PhD, and then there's still nothing to do with that. Some of them become a truck driver or whatever, or doing their own business. Why doing business when you're going to school? And then now, the schools are even on strike for over 5 months. salaries are not being paid, lives are not moving forward, and all our developments, I will not say they've been stalled, they've been destroyed. So I just we want to hear from you, Baba Jala. What happened to us? What's were your generation looking at when all this were being destroyed? I know a lot of people were speaking out, but action is what would bring the desired result. Where was the action or the will lacking?
The will was there, but it was we most of us in the South were blind to the arrested development that was creeping on top of us, right from even 1950s, when even before the white man left, the uh, Federal Executive Council was given the task of doing certain things, just like Western region was given the task to run their own government and see how well they are going to do it. Western region decided to use the 2 million advance to them with a provisional budget, and they revised that budget and were able to find that they could run free education, free health service, agricultural development, industrial estates, and a lot of other things that will employ the children of those who have left school. That plan was there. But the federal authorities was given a task of building railway from Ibadan to Benin, to Agbo, Asaba, Onitsha, and all the way to Mafen on the boundaries of the Cameroons. It's in the booklet of National Development Programs from 1954 to 59, and then the earlier one of 1951 to 54. What the federal government under Balewa did, the man most journalists do not analyze fully and start praising him, which I didn't even when I was young. He constructed the railway. There were two railways. The one to connect Maiduguri with the Kaduna Junction.
But just to hold you there on the railway issue, I thought Lugard built a railway because Lugard built a railway from Lagos
Uh,
to Jeba, and
uh,
from Jeba to
no,
connect to.
Lugard did not build that.
No, Lugard did in
Mm-mm.
1940.
I have the book here.
Yeah, well,
Lugard did
Lugard said,
not. He did the one in the north. Then McGregor did the one in the south.
okay, McGregor
Yeah.
has built. Yeah, McGregor did the one in the south, but Lugard connected to Kaduna and then to Meduguri.
What happened was that Lugard did not even want the connection between the south and the north. That is why you have a town called Barrow. So let
Yeah,
us be very clear
yeah.
about it. Because
Barrow was where he
hold
was
on.
thinking of putting the capital in
No,
Kaduna.
no, no. Barrow was supposed to be this river port for the north. They did not want anything to do with the south. So if you let me, I will explain this, because apart from this situation which we are, I studied the geography of development. Even right from primary school, I was very interested in the geography of Nigeria. And there are a lot of references. So I happen to have come across a lot of documents even before this, even before being saddled with this uh, program of calling for the dissolution of Nigeria. So I'm talking from not only experience, from the knowledge of what happened. So you see, there's a curve around Mina before to be there before coming down to Jeba. That
Yeah,
was forced on Lugard to do that connection with the Saturn railway that was ending up at Jeba. They
yeah.
did not want to link with us. So a lot of people who think that Lugard was more was
Generous.
somebody, well, it wasn't. And he tried to destroy the administration in the South because he felt that they were too educated. That is a fact. But the home government did not like what he was doing. And so to the point that when he ran into problem of funding the North, he was told that either to jettison the North or find a way to fund to make up the balance of payments that were supposed to run the northern administration. Then he tried to convince, uh, which he did, the man in charge of Nigeria, really, Lord Harcourt, the Nigerian desk in the colonial office.
Yeah.
Lord Harcourt was the person in charge of the Nigerian desk. And then was also, Lord Harcourt had to report to Chamberlain and then to the Prime Minister. You know, they have a structure. So let it be clear now. Lugard and his wife reloaded Lord
Flower
Harcourt,
Shaw.
uh, reloaded Lord Harcourt. Each time they wanted to go to the uh, colonial office, they would make sure that Churchill was not on seat.
Present.
Yeah. So you see, Nigeria was created as a fraudulent enterprise. So that's one thing. It was not. Nigeria was fostered on the British
So
government by
let's
by
come
the French.
to Balewa
So
and the rail project
yeah, I'm
where
coming
they
down to
started
that.
stalling
Nigeria was
our.
fostered uh, on the British colonial office by the subterfuges and actions and the lies of a promise of returns on investment, because it's a trading post,
Yeah.
by Lugard and the wife. If you go through the records with some of my people, I could read section of it in another program to tell you that I'm not just talking fibs. They did that. So look, now that's a background. So you see that the two countries, because the country that became Nigeria now were actually two countries. The Southern Protectorate, after the patching up of the different areas, the colony, and then the Yoruba country, as it was called, and then the Niger Delta. It's all stated, which some people still claim that the British government is hiding the name Yoruba government to Yoruba country. It never did. It's open. Even the lady who mentioned it already knew it was called Yoruba country. She didn't name it. Okay, so I'm trying to appeal to the minds of our people to investigate the problem.
Just like I tell people that don't always say Nigeria, like you said, Nigeria existed. The name Nigeria never even came to fore until around 1912, 1913.
No,
So,
let me clear that. 1897, and I have some documents I'm writing to clear that thing. But it was not attached to a particular territory
yeah, because we were just
until
called Southern Protectorate.
and Southern Protectorate. It was in 1900 that the name was now added to the Southern Protectorate of the Niger and the Northern Protectorate. That was
Oh,
just the
yeah,
name. The Sahelian places, were calling it New Sudan, Niger Sudan, whatever.
yeah.
As
Even
they were,
French
because
Sudan, the
uh,
north
yeah,
of
but because part of it was owned by the French, and like we rightly said, it was 1900 that Nigeria now came into being used in
yeah,
documents.
just as
And
Niger, not even Nigeria then.
Nigeria. Let me explain that. Chamberlain actually penned down the name Negritia. That was what he said, but he found it not too smooth. So he didn't actually like the suggestion by Flora Shaw and Lugard. So well, said that
Yeah,
sounds
because
better.
Flora Shaw said they should give it Negro area.
No, Niger area, yeah.
Yeah,
So okay, now
I saw her documents, and
yeah,
Flora Shaw
yeah,
said they should use
yeah.
Negro area.
She tried to use a play of words until she arrived at Nigeria or Niger area in Nigeria.
Yeah,
So now, when that happened, like I said, they will, because Churchill was never interested in having the North as part of what they already acquired in the South. That the South was more prosperous. There was oil from the palm oil from the Niger Delta area, which was used in their industries and all that. So now rolling the clock forward to the 1949 upwards to now. By 1950, they had penned down a development program for Nigeria, which included education and all that. Education in their form could not have been free, except for what Western region did. But they wanted,
which was radical at that time.
yeah, which was radical. And I will explain for listeners to know that what Western region did under the control of the British, which the British also praised, was undone by Nigeria in 1960 and was killed in 1962. I will explain why I said that. Because Nigeria died since 1962. We've just been patching it up. It died.
So we're just patching up a dead body.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I will explain that. And I can stand on any podium to explain it. Because we've been living a lie. Because even Lugard was regarded as an anatomy of lying. Most of the documents he did were lies about the value of the Northern Protectorate. And even
because in his book, he was trying to justify the amount.
Yeah.
That he was trying to show jurisprudence that his government has been able to show the British government that acquiring Nigeria did not cost Britain any money. Nigeria paid for itself. Nigeria paid for the war debt. But all this, even the war debt, was paid by Yoruba and Yoruba alone, not Nigeria.
No. The other parts of the South contributed to it.
No, the war debt, 6 million, Lugard said was taken from the tariff, from the VAT receipts. And it was, of liquor. Yeah.
And that South did not continually Yoruba area. That's one thing I'm trying to disabuse. Don't let us.
No, because the liquor was being shipped from the Lagos port.
Yeah, exactly. Shipped into Lagos port and distributed throughout southern Nigeria. That's the point. So there's a whole region, a whole country, which is the Southern Protectorate. And Lagos happens to be the port. So you should understand the mechanics of this. Now let's come to the arrested development, which is the main topic today. The arrested development, starting from the railway and waterways. At some point also, the water matters in Lagos. When they were building, Darocha actually built Iju Water Works. I was taken over by the colonial government then, because they felt he would not be able to satisfy the whole of Lagos. So they took it over and extended it all over the place. And they thanked him for it, and they paid him back. Because that time, the government in the South will always want to pay back an amount that is equivalent to the investment the person has done.
Made.
Plus
interest.
The returns on investment over the years, they calculate that. That was McGregor. Lugard hated that. You see, Nigeria had been ruled separately. And that's one thing I just read from one of this other man, John Campbell, actually described language in Nigeria. He said, even though English is the so-called official language, English is spoken in the South and Hausa is spoken in the North.
In the North, you can imagine. So, and now what they are trying to do is to Hausanize every.
Yeah, I have it in my book too, because we published it in 1999. There was an article, a case for the adoption of Hausa language throughout Nigeria. Arewa Forum newspaper published it in 1996. I can show you that one. I don't know, the book is not here. The book we wrote, we co-wrote, God bless his departed soul, Papa Ekine. We co-wrote that book, where we even suggested that Nigeria could have been called Lugadian. So you see, yeah, that's because just like Cecil Rhodes named the central area of Africa, Southern and Northern Rhodesia, which was a possibility until this lady came, what is called, the wife of Lugard, Flora Shaw, built up the name from Negro to Niger because of the river, and then Nigeria. And it was first published in the Times newspaper, January.
I was going to say Daily Times, the Times,
Times of London.
Yeah.
Because there was no Daily Times in Africa.
Yeah, London Times.
Yeah. So let us look at that, the Arrested Development, because there are a lot of things that we need to know, because the background history will inform us of why some of these things happened. Now, Balewa happened to have been chosen to be the head of this, because unfortunately the colonial officers who were in charge then felt that somebody from an area where it's the largest land area should be the head of the chairman of the Federal Executive Council, as it was called then. And then they had some elected and some selected members into that house. As at this time, Lagos had become very cosmopolitan. People, some educated Igbos, like were already in Nigeria, in Lagos. They lived amongst us. Or the Ojuku's father was trading in Lagos and making money. But when it came to planning for the future of the country, the Federal Executive Council did not do well for Western region or the Yorubaland, including the Shekiri and Edo. There should have been a railway built even before the first coup from Ibadan via Ife, Ilesha, Efalaye. That was this
on the east-west axis of
Western region to Mafe,
connect at least to the eastern region.
To the eastern region, and even up to Mafe in the Cameroons, because Mafe was part of Southern Cameroons that was part of Nigeria.
Part of Nigeria.
Yeah. I remember my uncle who was working in Ebuya also mentioned that to my ear. I was a little boy, but I always listened to things that elders tell me. I was more of an elder-loving child. After playing ball, I always go to these elders and sit down to listen to stories. So I know about that. And they were all happy that maybe they could, instead of having to go to Lagos Ibadan to enjoy the railway, they would just go to either to whatever point. If you are in Owo, you just go to Benin. In fact, it was going to pass through Owo.
We have a lot of people who are rail watchers.
Yeah, okay. So they will, even from ancient, from earlier times.
Before you go on that, you've been talking about the railway, which you will continue now.
Yeah.
The railway is completely dead in Nigeria, completely dead. Even when they're trying to revive it, or we call Chinese to build us railway, the terrorists are not allowing it to work.
Oh, that's another problem.
Yeah, that's why I say it's completely dead. Now, there's no even road to build on. There's a video we'll play very soon. You talked about the railway.
Yeah. What about
We
the
have
road?
we have flooding, and we
Yeah.
know flooding and rails are not compatible.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have electrified lines, but that flooding and rail are not compatible because they will sweep up the ballast that is used to support the rail, the
Exactly.
sand, and then the rail will now start to bounce and hang because although they are still tethered, but they'll be hanging in the air,
Which is dangerous to
which
life.
is dangerous to life.
Now, we saw a colonial government that was not fit for purpose, because the analogy I put is the colonial government of Britain ruled Lagos from 1861 to about 1961. They left in 1960. 100 years, no university until after independence, 1960. But before then, we had our own regional government. So it was when the Western
The
Nigeria,
University of Ibadan was
yeah,
established before 1960.
yeah, that
That
was
was at the airport
1948,
of
but that was in Ibadan, not
yeah,
Lagos. That
yeah,
was in Ibadan.
yeah,
And so it's just one university for over 20, 30 million people.
yeah.
So,
And
yeah. So my point is, when the regional government came, we had Obafemi Awolowo University. We had other colleges of education, polytechnics, and several other institutions. So Western region was like a radical government to rapidly bring development to our people. A lot of industries were created.
if I may add, it was the vision of the people because the East was also given that opportunity, but did not take it. The way
Exactly. And
so
that's and
the West decided, like I said,
to push
revise,
themselves for development.
yeah, by revising the uh, provisional budget that the colonial government gave to them. It was like they gave to the three regions. It was like you have this provisional government. Here is
Go,
2 million.
go and start, and let's see what you will do.
That's exactly
Yeah,
that is how it happened. But the West decided because we've had a contact of
visionaries.
education, even with the Britain that colonized us. Our people have been coming for education right from the 1800s. At least CMS Grammar School, 1856 or something like that. So a lot of schools in Western region are older than Nigeria itself. You see, I say arrested development. Coming back to it, don't let us. I'm not that we are drifting. We are putting
Things in
we are
perspective,
putting things in
on
perspective,
the
putting
spotlight.
uh, to support what we are saying, not claim. We are not claiming anything. We are saying these are the things that happened. For example,
Exactly.
there was the program that the Federal Executive Council at the time should have started sewage system in Lagos. There another little story, which I found it repugnant. Our people were opposed to paying a minimum fee for water supply to their homes. But the British administration said, look, that will reduce the incidence of guinea
Flooding.
worm and all other this thing. And McGregor had tried himself to build more canals to drain Lagos so that mosquito incidents will reduce. They were doing that because McGregor had a vision of making Lagos.
I will just play this video based on what you're saying, so that our viewer it's been circulating on social media for some few hours, if not days now, of Lagos being flooded. And it's a pity because the major, you call it natural disaster. We see tornadoes and things happening everywhere in Western countries. Nigeria's own natural disaster, which is flooding, It's actually not natural disaster, but
It's
human
preventable
disaster.
disaster. Preventable.
Exactly. So I'll just play the video.
The Ogun State. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un.
Yeah. So, Baba Jala, we just watch that video. You will see something that the period between May or June, June and August is not a palatable one in Lagos. If we have rail line, if that place, we were told it's Alagomeji around Agege motorway.
That's one part of the railway line, Alagomeji.
Yeah. So it's so sad. This is preventable. That's the painful thing. It is preventable.
You know what? Being which is part of the field I studied. By now, most of the rivers flowing down to the coast in Western region should have been rechannelized, and some of them diverted into holding
The
areas
ocean.
which are called not the ocean, holding areas which are called reservoirs
Or
for
dam.
processing for water
For
supply,
irrigation, if possible.
water supply into domestic water supply, industrial water supply. Now, that has not been done. It was part of the national development project that was slated down in the 50s. If they had continually started to develop it, and now look at the dam in Onyo Dam near Abeokuta. Onyo Dam is holding a large volume of water. I can't remember the cubic meters now. I will post it. It's very large, and it's capable of generating at least 100 megawatts. Although they only installed 9 megawatts, and that was not because they were interested, but the vision was that that 9 megawatts should serve the irrigation area and the farmlands in the area that was meant for the.
Yeah, so the capacity of the Oyo Dam is 690 million cubic meter.
Yeah, that's the Onyo Dam. Thanks for
Yeah.
bringing that up. You see how large that is. And it is filling up every year, and it is flooding Lagos because they have to release the water before it floods the littoral area that is close to it. They allow it to flow down, thinking that the channel that the Ogun River has built is enough for that volume. It is not. And some of us who knew when the Lagos-Ibadan Express was built and completed in the 1970s.
Do you say completed? I think that road is going to be on
No,
forever.
that's the first stage of completion.
The first stage of completion.
But at that time, I told my friends that road, even though you all enjoy it, we had a lay-by in Shagam, which was beautiful with hotels and so on. I said it was substandard. How you, Mr. Jalai, or Alex or Lexi, they called me. You always complain. I say, it's not complain. If you want to develop, you develop.
Exactly.
If you don't want to develop, pack up. And then let the people who want to do it for themselves.
And now, individuals who have money cannot even do their own roads.
No, they are not allowed, because you see, if government is not ready to do, let private individuals do it, and then government pays them back, because there's the essential facilities, critical infrastructure that allow development to happen in countries. And you notice in Europe, America, Russia, China, Japan, and Indonesia, even small Singapore, they are developing rail because it's one of the easiest and safest way to transport heavy goods from point A to point B. Apart from the fact that America does not have a high-speed rails, they are still maintaining their railways.
I tell you something. When the Eastern Railway was built in 1916, which cost about £8 million then, roughly about 900 million in today's money, 75 to 85% of the usage of that railway was just freight to carry goods. The passenger figure was just between 10 and 15%.
Well, Nebula would explain that to you. The concept behind the railway in Nigeria was freight.
Yeah.
It was not meant for
the people.
For the people. It was not meant for passenger distance. It's part of what we studied in geography in those days. And in doing it, Lugard and the others in the south agreed that there's no point building a standard gauge railway. So that was why they built a 3.6-inch gauge that will allow a maximum speed of just 60 miles per hour at some straight stretches. That's how they came about that. It was, and if we as a country were interested in development, which we are pretending and telling the world that Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, what do we have to show in terms of a diversified economy, a spread out kind of economy, which involves the people movement from A to B? We can't move around in Nigeria. A lot of people, some people are in Lagos who do not even know Ibadan. That's a fact. Yeah,
millions. I agree with you, sir.
So it's and that's why
that is the problem, because majority of them in Lagos, they've never gone out of Lagos and they've never seen life.
And they think
outside
Lagos
of Lagos
is Nigeria.
So they confuse the life in Lagos as a life acceptable
elsewhere,
everywhere, both in Nigeria and
abroad.
Developing.
Because I've heard a young man saying that Lagos is like New York. You know why? Because we have yellow taxi, yellow beating sizes with dents all over the place. Go and look at the there cannot be a yellow taxi in New York with a dent.
I'll tell you something. If he wants to do comparison, I'll give him good comparison. New York taxis, they use the latest car model. So they use cars of 2020, 2021, 2022 for taxi. Whereas in Nigeria, you dare not use those cars. You use cars that are built in the 70s for taxi. Where all the panels have gone, all the chairs, you are probably sitting on a wood in the taxi. You are sitting uncomfortably, and the taxi could die on the road.
Oh God, you remind me of something that I experienced when I was in University of Lagos. I always like mentioning all this thing. There was the Ogba Road. There were water pipes. Then there were not much of boreholes. The pipeline of water that was dug up, one of them broke and was sticking out of the road, flooding. And a taxi went over it, and it punctured a hole, into the chassis and into the back seat where a pregnant woman was sitting. And I will stop there. It's a gory death. And that you call a capital city. I'm talking of 1970s. It's a gory death. Lagos development was arrested immediately we had independence. The managers of the federal government classified Lagos just as a big city, village. It was not seen as an economic advantage to the country. A city that was developing.
A state that now provides revenue that surpasses 24
a city that was developing that time, that you should match up infrastructural development with the development of Lagos as a center of commerce,
Excellent.
industry, and even tourism. Lagos was abandoned. It's an abandoned place. Most locations don't see it, all because they have some skyscrapers that they use generator
I don't even think there's
to
any
power.
skyscraper. I don't think there's any skyscraper in Lagos.
No,
You
there
talk
are
of
some.
maybe 1004. But I wouldn't
There's,
class 1004 as a skyscraper.
no, there are many of them that are, to me, they are not well built. To the point that
Well, some you could say is in Lagos mainland
yeah,
or in Marina,
yeah.
which
So
Lugard even call. He said the stench in the area is just too much for him to handle.
yes, at that time, because they had stopped Magrirock from continuing his development. You see, Western Nigeria had been experiencing arrested development right from the creation of Nigeria. That's the fact. The monies that were meant to have been used to start the foundation for a sewage system in Lagos was not diverted into managing the affairs in the north by Lugard.
Yeah. So
These are the points.
I will go to. We've got just 10 minutes. Now, a lot of people will ask, yeah, we know all these things now. We see all these problems. They are there. What do we do?
The do is our people had endured mortgaging our future into a Nigerian, which some of us call Nigerian project. It's not a project. A Nigerian territory that has nothing to do with us, that our forefathers did not create in the first place. We
Exactly.
mortgage ourselves.
A business post.
Yeah, a business post. So and it is an amalgam. For us to be able to resolve and solve these problems, we will see that at some point, looking back into history,
Nigeria is just like a bolt-on country.
Yeah, that is true. But looking back to history, we saw that the Western region, like you said earlier, saw that there is a need for development of the people from cradle to grave. And that was why they established free health service and free education and agricultural development, industrial and water supply to homes. We were having water supply. It was being built gradually to cover the various places.
I tell you, my house I lived in Lagos had water supply to the house.
And
after
to the
some
bathroom
time,
and to the toilets.
To the bathroom, to the toilets, everywhere.
And to the
After
kitchen.
some time, that water is gone. We don't even know again.
Because
now everybody in Lagos is fetching water in the
this is where why experiences arrested development. When a country or a city is developing, you have to match up that country with the critical infrastructure for it to exist as a modern place. But the critical infrastructure for Lagos to exist as a modern place is not there. You are just seeing fake roads and then painted capsize, waste of money. The money that you have been used
that begin
your
to
painted capsize, black and white, they are not supposed
after commissioning.
To yeah. And then after some years, the whole thing is dirty. Why do you have to paint the capsize of your roads? You have to use what we call engineering bricks, artificial stone for the capsize. And that is what they should be using. As if we don't have engineers.
I'll come to the other part. Huh? I'll come to the other part of development on what we need to be doing. A lot of people now are saying, oh, let's go and campaign. Let's vote for this person. He's going to bring this. He's going to bring that. It's the turn of Yoruba to be president. And I said, it's not the turn of anybody to be president because they're not president of Yoruba. They are president of Nigeria. A lot of people were arguing and advocating that if these people win, we'll have Yorubas in the government. And the last I checked, a Yoruba man is the Minister of Works, Raji Fashola. Today, the roads in Lagos are even worse than anywhere in Nigeria. and this man is a two-time governor of Lagos State. So for those people who are still believing that, oh, let's go out and do election first, and then the
Will I
government
want
will
to
now
comment
be,
there on that particular point?
yeah.
Those of them who are with it's about rules and everything that is attached to it. I remember 2014 when I came home for the burial of my lovely mom, Mama Olaum Alegbe, with the gracious Lord. There's
Yeah,
both.
so rest in
So
peace.
the road between Ibadan and this thing was just being started. In 2016, there had been a lot of work done on that road. No, 2014, there's a lot of work done on that road. 1/3 of the road had been completed. And when Buhari came in on the promise that he's going to finish that road within 9 months, check the
Just like every promise, from top
and
I'll take
now
it to the bottom.
that road has not been touched. Oh, they said they are going to re-award it. Why not continue with the people? All you do is to assess the road that has been done. For me, what has been done was good. It was expanded and just in concrete so that it will not sink like the previous one that had potholes, even with the macadam on top of it. They were just bending up and down. Just after, I think about 3 or 4 years after the construction in the 70s. That was why I told you. I told my friends that that road was a danger because it had no foundation. They just scraped it and put too much layers of tile on it without any foundation. There's a structural pattern to do roads where you have to have small pebbles of like my feet to be part of the ones in the when you have scraped, and then you pour sand and cement without water on top of it, and you put another layer of stones graded up until when you get to a particular level about in wet areas it has to be about 24 to 30 inches deep. That I can tell you and know a little bit about road construction.
And more so, have they tested
Yeah,
the
the soil,
materials
yeah,
they're using?
the soil mechanics was not
Yeah.
properly tested.
Is it been technically tested?
Yeah,
The strengths,
that's the problem because the engineers who did it were not given the funds to. They did not. The funds for that was not approved in the final contract. I know that, and that road was supposed to have a telephone and then
emergency service.
emergency points along the road. The money for that telephone thing and emergency points was, I think, was 91 million. I remember if you go to the records in the Daily Times, if they are bonded, because I read it. I'm not faking any figure. It was supposed to be there, but they gave us a very beautiful Shagamu exchange where you most of the time
Yes.
when I drive down that road, I stop there, eat and relax. We have friends. We can even call, have a band ahead. There was some little bit of telephony at that time, but there's no mobile. We tell ourselves there are different towns. I'm going to this. I will arrive there. If you don't meet me out there. So it's
Yeah.
beautiful, and but it was not good enough. It was not large enough to take large trucks that were been parking. They drive into the truck parking area and the car parking area. It was still small. I told my friend, this is not the standard for a developing nation. We have to build capacity ahead of development. That capacity was never done.
Thank you, Baba Jala. Unfortunately, our time is almost up. I know we've still got a lot to share on the arrested development, and we'll probably continue on this topic
Yeah,
next week.
we need to.
We'll probably continue because there's a lot that has happened to us, from education to pharmaceutical to healthcare to adult care to even the working life and family life. I just want to thank those who have joined us today. Moses Bright, Antonio Motoshaw. There are some other people that have joined us that I cannot see here, but I want to thank you. If you leave us a comment on the topic we've discussed today, and you can send your questions and answers as well, so we would talk about it and address them as we go along. I've seen Dave Malo. Thank you very much for joining us. So we will stop here, Baba Jala. It's just your parting message. A lot of people call me, and one of the now that it's election time, some people will say, oh, let's go and do election because that's the only thing we have. We've got 4F DLS. Good job, Babake and Babajala. Thank you very much, 4F DLX. God bless you. So, Babajala, what's your parting word for a lot of people who are still confused that do we suspend the Yoruba nation for the election to take place, or do we continue? And I said, well, it's good for them to be confused. It's good for them to ask questions. But the Yoruba mission is a mission to salvation, a mission to complete freedom. But what we have in Nigeria is a mission to nowhere. And that is why our development have been stalled. So what's your parting word for a lot of our viewers and those who are going to watch us later?
I will advise them that our future does not lie in a continuity of Nigeria. It's a destroyed place. Even some writers, of which I ascribe to their position, have said that we have got to a point of no return.
Of course.
There's no way we can patch up that country, whether through election or otherwise. As long as we are the same, the people who are going to suffer most are the Yorubas. We are going to suffer most because you are not looking around you. The Fulani colonialists, they are not bandits. You are just being lied to that they are bandits. Just like Lugard, who has the anatomy of lying in his time. And which
just quickly, somebody is sent in a question to say the soldiers. We saw a video online recently about soldiers stripping Amatekun personnel of their charms, enchantments, and this. That what's your take on it? I know our time is up, but just 30 seconds. We may have to address it next week.
To tell our people to wake up, that we should not have any hand in the conduct of the next election. Those of you who are going to be called to do electoral register update should not go, even if you are given $1 million, please. It is the death of us if we participate.
Thank you very much, Baba Jala.
It is the death of us if we participate, and I will explain that in our next program.
Thank you very much. Our viewers today, thank you very much. You've heard what we've had to say. The arrested development. Our children have been at home for 5 years, 5 months, I beg your pardon. Who should be studying to provide solar power, to provide good roads, to provide education system, to provide services, to provide the industries that will take us to the next level. But now they are sitting idly, wasting their talent. And then the professors would now be used to conduct election for criminals, Yorubas, other indigenous nationalities in Nigeria. It's time to wake up and realize that Nigeria is not what we think it is. And it's time to dissolve it. Until we come your way again, same time, same station next week, I will ask you to continue to stay strong, speak out, and together we'll make the world hear us. Thank you.
If I may add one last sentence.
Okay, go on, Babajala.
An amalgam that fails stands dissolved. Nigeria is an amalgam, so it has to be dissolved.
Exactly. Nigeria is an amalgam and it has to be dissolved. Thank you. We see you again next week. God bless you.
lọ́jọ́kọ́jọ́ làbẹ̀wò kúkú dùkú lóko podium international wọ́n ti wà tipẹ́tipẹ́ látìgbà tí wọ́n ti ń bàbọ̀ wọn ò fìgbà kan tẹ́rì o wọ́n ti wá ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ wọ́n ti gbé bẹ̀bẹ̀ dé podium cinema ni wọ́n tún gbé dé podium cinema lórí youtube ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn kẹ́ ẹ láìkì wọn kẹ́ ẹ subscribe ibẹ̀ lẹ́tì mọ̀ wọ àwọn àjẹ́ àbálẹ̀ fíìmù ẹ̀dọ̀kí fíìmù tó léfò gan tààrà podium cinema mo bẹ́rí fún yín fíìmù mẹ́sàn-án ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni wọ́n kó jáde o àwọn gbàǹkọ́gbé fíìmù èkíní májẹ̀mú ẹ̀gbọ́n èkejì my wet ẹ̀kẹta ọmọ ẹni ẹ̀kẹrin àlàmú èkó ẹ̀karùn-ún àìmọ̀ ṣẹ̀wárí pé nǹkan kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ràgó ó kọjá bẹ́ẹ̀ eléyìí lẹ́tìkẹjù èdè yorùbá ni wọ́n fi ṣe àwọn fíìmù yìí ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹfà sẹ́ẹ̀kẹsàn-án èdè òyìnbó ni wọ́n kọ́ ẹ̀kẹfà tẹ́mà èkeje the casting ẹ̀kẹjọ m1 the detective ẹ̀kẹsàn 100 m1 the detective at 100 orí síríìsì lẹ́fì máa wò ó ìyẹn dàgbéléwò nìyẹn podium international podium cinema ẹ fọ́lọ̀ wọn ká ẹ láìkì wọn lórí youtube wọ́n wà lórí facebook wọ́n wà lórí instagram podium cinema ó ti dọbẹ̀ ẹ subscribe.